Years ago, I wanted to get investing into real estate as quickly as I possibly could because I wanted to build my overall wealth and generate some side income. So in 2017, I got started. And since then, I've made a bunch of mistakes along the way. So if you want to fast track your real estate investing journey, then I have the perfect video for you. Do not, I repeat, do not make these same mistakes that I made. Okay, before we get into the 3 mistakes, I'm here at one of my buildings, the 3 package deal we bought, and I want to give an update on one of the projects that we're currently working on. And I also want to touch on something you need to know when you're doing a project like this. So we're redoing the floor in one of the bathrooms. We're not redoing the bathroom. We're doing the entire side of the kitchen floor. I just watched that video and I don't know why I said that. It's a kitchen, not a bathroom. Check it out. So basically where we're doing the entire floor over there, what happened was there was another floor on top of it, right? So again, floor like this, and we have the vents that are in the floor. So what happened was we're basically doing an epoxy cover over that entire floor on the kitchen side. Always rip it up. Always get to the most base level floor because you know why? Here's what I found out. When I ripped up that subfloor, I found a vent that was being covered up by the subfloor. Massive fire hazard, right? Imagine if we had the subfloor, we put more flooring on top of it, there's heat coming out. It just wouldn't be good. But anyways, I just want to give you that tip and show you some of the progress we have at one of the projects. All right, so for the past 7 years, I've been investing in real estate. I started with a 5-unit building and I got all the way up into this property that I'm at now. This is one of the buildings. We bought 50,000 square feet of 3 buildings located downtown in our city. This one is gonna be a restaurant. I'm currently standing in the bar. By the way, if you are new, there is hope. Look at this screenshot of this post. It actually gave me chills rereading this because I remember when I closed on my first property, the 5-unit, 6 years before that, I was literally broke, like didn't even have $1,000 to my name. So if you love real estate investing, go ahead and subscribe. By the way, I just passed 1,000 subs. Thank you all so much. Let's build a cool community. Let's all learn how to be better investors. Let's share our wisdom amongst each other. And let's get into the content. All right, mistake number 1, selling on emotion. So the year was 2018, and I just closed on my 9th unit. At this time, I was only 2 years into investing in real estate. So my business partner and I just closed on this building here, which is a 4-unit that we got for $230,000. Those were the good days. Finding units under 75,000, we had an average price of about $50,000 a door. In the following year, we sold this property for $330,000, which netted us $100,000 in 1 year. So at this moment, I could probably guarantee you're thinking, how is this a mistake, Chris? Well, at first glance, things were going awesome. They were going just as how we planned it. But eventually, I started to get more upset about the current situation, what was happening. So I proposed we just sell it, and he agreed. So quick background about why I got upset. At the time, I was running a digital marketing agency. I also was part owner of a floor installation company. Between both companies, was managing about 20 to 25 people. On top of that, bought the 5-unit, then we just bought the 4-unit. By the way, we were actually paying my business partner a salary to manage all the properties because he had experience. For me, that was a fair trade because I had to manage my companies. What happened was over time, I started to get tenant phone calls. I started to get emails. Somehow they found my number and my contact. I was also over there flipping some of these units when he was nowhere to be found. So as you can see, I started to get more and more frustrated with the situation. My emotions started to raise and I wasn't happy about the current situation. And part of this wasn't the only reason. So Another thing that kind of played into it was the idea of this bubble is going to pop, because all the experts in my smart, trusted real estate friends were saying there's no way we can keep going like this. Prices for the past 10 years have been just going up and up and up. They're gonna crash. We're gonna have a massive correction. Just look at this chart. As you can see with this chart, when we sold it to what happened next. So if I had just been a little more patient and I didn't sell on emotion, we probably would have made another $100,000. Not to think about all the depreciation we had, all the appreciation with the extra 100,000, and the cash flow that this thing was spitting off. Because I think our debt service was around $1,300, including taxes, and this thing was making about $4,000 to $5,000 gross per month. So what's the lesson here? The lesson here is do not sell on emotion. Take some time, think things through, and a pro tip is if you're gonna sell, always have a plan for the money. This will be in one of my other tips later in this video. Mistake number 2 that I made was not pushing harder to get a deal done. The stage is set. We go back to 2017. My business partner and I just closed on our first ever real estate investment property, which was a 5-unit mixed use. It had apartments on top, commercial on the bottom, and we got that off of a land contract with really good terms. By the way, I made a video explaining all that. If you want to go watch it, the video is about 5 years old. But just after we bought this 5-unit deal, we now had our eyes set on an even bigger project. So the deal that we were thinking about buying that we wanted to get was a 16-unit, 4-story building right downtown, actually blocks away from this current one that we just purchased. We eventually negotiated with the sellers and we actually locked it up. Possible terms of a land contract, we put some EMD down, we had it locked up, and we had all the terms in place. I think the purchase price was about $1.3 million. And again, it was a 16 unit. It had 3 commercial spots on the main floor, 13 apartments above that. Now at the time, everybody was saying, oh, it's overpriced, too much money for this piece of junk. But me and my partner knew if we got this, it's gonna hold value in this area. If not, appreciate over the next 5 years. So where is the mistake in this one? Well, you see, in order for us to get this deal done, our number 2 deal that we were looking at doing, we needed to raise some capital because we just bought our first deal. Also, we were early in our career. We didn't have that much money saved up, and it was a $1.3 million purchase price. So we needed some money for down payment, and we also needed to renovate every single 13 apartments because they were in pretty bad shape. So we figured, here's the budget we need for down payment. Here's what we need for renovation cost, which I forget what it is now, but I think it was around $600,000 that we were looking to raise at the time. So what ultimately happened was we raised about half of the money, enough for the down payment, and we didn't know the right people. We didn't have the funds. We didn't have the connections in order to get the deal across to the finish line. Now, time was coming up, and we basically were about to run out of time, and eventually we just had to let it go. But I wish we would have pushed harder. I wish we would have negotiated with them and extended. I wish we would have just took the risk and used that money, bought the down payment, figured out the renovations after, right? I wish we would have called more people and pushed a little harder, because the 4-unit that I bought, that deal became pretty complex for us to get it across the finish line, but we pushed hard and we got it done, and that thing worked out, and it netted us $100,000, right? So again, there's times where maybe it seems hard or challenging or impossible. If you just push a little harder, make a few phone calls, negotiate some more, sometimes you can make the deal happen. And to me, that's like the one that got away. I really wish we would have made more of an effort and pushed way harder, because that thing, with nothing done to it, is basically double in value, right? And we would have made a lot more money if we pushed a little harder on that deal. Mistake number 3 that I made was not reinvesting the cash. Oh, and by the way,
This is really cool. Check this out. Fortune teller. I don't know, we might keep that for the restaurant and incorporate that somehow, but I thought that was kind of a cool little random odd mural in our building. Also, looks like the workers working on the floor have a little green bean lunch. Didn't eat the green beans. Okay, so this mistake I highly regret. When we sold the 4 unit, we made $100,000. That was great, but we sold on emotion. Now, the big problem with that in selling on emotion was the third mistake, not reinvesting the capital. Basically what happened was we sold, I got my money back as the down payment, $30,000. We split the 100K, 50-50. I walked away with a check of about $80-some thousand. Now, I can't even tell you where that $80,000 went. That's terrible to say, and I know that. It pains me to say that, but it's the truth. And you as an investor, I want you to be knowing that, right? I want you to learn from my mistakes. So when you do sell a property, you have a big windfall, right? This is not financial advice, but take majority and put that into another deal. Now, I talked to one of my business partners and mentors, and he said, Chris, every time you get a big windfall, you get a big pile of cash, you sell a property, always have a plan of what to do with that money. Because if you don't, and you put it in your savings, you put it in your checking, you're gonna squander it. You're gonna pay for emergencies that come up. You're gonna pay for vacations. You're gonna pay for things because you think, well, I can afford it. I got the money, why not? Let's go on another vacation. So that was a big mistake that I made, because if I would have taken that $80,000 5-6 years ago, put that into another property, I would have held my money there, and I guarantee I would have probably appreciated in some value and also earned some cash flow along the way. So if you're gonna sell, have a plan of what to do with the money, reinvest that back into another deal. That's just my experience. That's what I've learned. That's the mistake that I made. I hope that helps you, and I hope you learn from my downfall. Pro tip, make sure to pack extra salsa with your green beans. Have a nice day.